Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. The City of Huntington Beach is suing to overturn the state's sanctuary state laws protecting illegal immigrants, arguing that they violate federal immigration laws and the state and national constitution. Joining me with more on this story is the Center Square's California reporter, Kenneth Schrupp. Kenneth, what is this lawsuit claiming?
Hey, Yada. This lawsuit is claiming that the state's sanctuary laws that protect illegal immigrants violate federal immigration laws and force local officials to not follow their oath to follow the state and national constitution. The sanctuary state laws in California limit cooperation between state and local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities, which does violate the United States Constitution's supremacy clause, under which federal law preempts state law.
And how are they saying this impacts their community?
Well, they use a lot of data points to try to explain this, one of which is data from the Orange County jail system. This Orange County data from 2023 showed that 547 of its inmates had detainers from Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. A detainer is when ICE sends out a notice that if this person is apprehended, that they should be held until ICE can pick them up and deport them. So Orange County Sheriff's Department is not actually able to tell ICE about some of these inmates that it has unless they are there for a crime that meets a very high serious threshold. So of the 547 inmates with ICE detainers in 2023, only 302 met the state's sanctuary state law requirements for being transferred to ICE. Ultimately, ICE picked up and transferred 221 of them ostensibly for deportation. Of those 81 for whom ICE was notified because they had committed a very serious crime, but ICE didn't accept the transfer, 40 of them were rearrested for new crimes in Orange County that year. So the people who meet this threshold, half of them who were not sent away, committed another crime the same year and were arrested again. That's insane. Of the 245 inmates who didn't meet the sanctuary state threshold for ICE notification, 27 were rearrested for new crimes in Orange County. So a little more than a 10% rate. That's still a very high number.
So Huntington Beach is concerned that these laws are putting their citizens more at risk for experiencing crime.
That's right. At least that's how they're trying to prove that their residents and the city is at risk. Part of the case also says that the city officials, if they're not complying with the federal law, they're actually not complying with the U.S. Constitution, which they make an oath to when they first take office. Rob Bonta has fought back against Huntington Beach and any chance at mass deportations under the Trump administration. He sent out a release in December saying that state and local law enforcement cannot ask for immigration status. State and local law enforcement cannot assist ICE with immigration enforcement, with very limited exceptions. This means they cannot investigate, cannot interrogate, cannot arrest, and cannot detain you unless it is part of a joint federal task force, where the primary purpose is not immigration enforcement. Bonta's release that includes all of these reminders of rights and protections under the law was cited in the lawsuit as an exhibit of the state's sanctuary city policy favoring individuals who might have committed crimes, which does put local residents at risk.
And Huntington Beach generally has kind of a contentious relationship with this state. This is just the latest example of that. What's been their history?
Well, last year, Huntington Beach lost a lawsuit against the state for not building enough housing or zoning enough housing as well. So the city is going to be forced to comply with state housing requirements. The city did win against the state in a lawsuit regarding its mandate for voter ID in local elections. Huntington Beach voters did pass a voter ID requirement for city elections starting soon. As a result, the state legislature passed a law banning local voter ID. That law just went into effect on January 1st. Bonta's office did lose that case. A judge said that it was within the city's rights to do so and that there was no law stopping them from doing so. And now that this new ban on voter ID is in effect, though, Bonta is likely to go ahead and appeal that ruling.
Well, Kenneth, thank you for your insights on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.